Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Marketing Mischief and Mayhem, the show where we talk with CMOs and leaders in marketing of great technology companies to find out what's really happening in the trenches of B2B marketing. My name is Russell Quinan. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of Theory SF in San Francisco, and we're a brand and marketing agency that works with a lot of technology companies. And we've been having great conversations with our clients and wonderful, marketing leaders in the industry. And we thought we'd just open it up to other folks to hear because we think there's some knowledge to be shared. So I'm very excited today. We have a wonderful guest. Today's guest has collected marketing titles the way some people collect airline miles. Over her years, she's led brand growth, customer experience, product marketing, demand generation, communications, and executive marketing functions across multiple organizations, which means she has spent decades answering the questions like, can marketing drive growth? Can marketing prove it? And everyone's favorite, can marketing do it with half the budget? Loree, am I right? Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Loree Faucett has built a career helping companies grow through change, transformation, and more than a few marketing trends that seemed revolutionary until they disappeared 18 months later. Today, we're talking about creativity, leadership, AI, business growth, and what separates marketers who chase trends from those who actually create impact. Welcome to the show, Loree Faucett.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for agreeing to come talk with me. Appreciate it. I know our guests will as well. So let's just go ahead and dive right in, Loree. You've lived through ERP, analytics, big data, digital transformation, and now AI. Which technology trend was the most overhyped, and which one was actually underhyped?
This is good. I would say digital transformation, maybe this is a hot take, I don't know, was overhyped. And the reason I feel that way is that it wasn't like a trend. It was a shift. It's more of like, instead of, everything being so analog and so disconnected, we just started building these systems and processes. So, it's literally like stone tablets to printing press, or like switchboard operators to cell phones. Like, it's just such a different way of talking about it. And so I think it's overhyped because everything's moving this way. But there was no infrastructure, and there was this huge learning curve, and everything needed to be built to be able to actually take advantage of it. So, because of that, I think, it was overhyped in the way that it was very, very gradual. It was not immediate, but everyone was really excited about it all the same.
Yeah.
And then, underhyped. AI is like both underhyped and overhyped. Like, obviously you can't go to a conference without talking about AI. You can't be on a webinar or a podcast without talking about AI. I'm a big, maybe tinfoil hat person about it, where I'm like, hey, we are just beginning. Like, it is just starting. And there's so many, opportunities for AI to influence everything from society to how businesses run. And so I think it's a little bit underhyped because there's just way, way more. We're just on the brink. And so expertise in AI doesn't even really exist yet, which is kind of interesting. So.
Right. Yeah, we are just scratching the surface, especially when we get to quantum computing. It's fascinating and scary at the same time, especially to see what it's going to do to our industry. But I still always believe we're big fans here of it. In my opinion, it takes a human being to create something unique and special and powerful that motivates people with souls. Like, you're not going to get a got milk out of that won't happen. But you will get base hits. So, with our clients, we always develop brands here. We always develop brand strategy. But for all those high volume creative needs, especially in social, absolutely, for iterating out like all different kinds of options. Absolutely. It's amazing. But I still fight for human beings, and we'll see how long I can do that for.
I think forever, hopefully.
I hope. I feel like it's funny. I feel like, remember Paul Bunyan, who was in the war against the machine? And I'm rooting for Paul Bunyan. I'm sorry. I'm against Skynet, but I do love some of the stuff that Skynet does. So
yeah, we can enjoy what Skynet produces.
Exactly. We'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. But if I see some weird electrical thing and some big naked guy comes out of it, I'm running. That was a reference to
Terminator.
who's that? Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm forgetting the name of the movie right now. What was it?
Terminator.
Terminator, of course, Terminator.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's one point. I'm going to carry that point forward to the lightning round. So we'll see if that helps you, Lori. I don't think it will, but I'm just telling you, I'm gonna do that. So hey, every company says they're AI powered. What are the dead giveaways that a company's positioning is real versus AI flavored wallpaper?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So my current work, I work at an IT MSP, an MSSP, and so AI is what everybody's asking us about. And it's become very clear that you can say you do AI, you could say you offer AI, but when people start asking, even one question, well, what does that look like? Yeah, well, and so in our industry specifically, it's kind of about enabling people, but beyond that, what we're really seeing is people outsource. Kind of interesting because then it's a little bit like, oh yeah, we can do this because we're partnering with this company who you could literally go talk to yourself to offer this solution. And so I think that's what it looks like in my world. We're kind of taking a different approach personally at ITS, where we're trying to learn and get certified and consult and help people like along the same journey that we're on, which I think is really interesting. But I feel like you see so many companies like talking about being AI powered and everything is so strong there, but also things have been AI powered for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not new. It's just the scale is so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's kind of my take on it, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny, and now I'm seeing a lot with our clients. We have the brands that are now trying to bolt AI into their model, right? Bolted on top. And then there's the brands that were built native AI, right? So we're going to start seeing so many variations on the theme of positioning. Well, we're better because we were built from the ground up AI. Well, we're better because our system has been, has 20 years of experience and we've added AI to it. So it's kind of interesting how we're seeing this work out in terms of positionings. Okay, so hey, if I'm going to cut this part out, obviously. You talk about human first AI. AI gets smarter every year. Does creativity become more important or less important?
So I would say creativity becomes more important, but I think the thing, and this is the human piece that Paul Bunyan will always have for us, but the human piece is context and relatability and being able to draw from the human experience. And far before AI, I feel like some of the best campaigns or strategies or ideas or a got milk came from a book or theater or a conversation or a debate, and it's not what you learn and it's not what you're reading on trends and not what other competitors are doing. It's more of what are the things in our lives that we can connect around and create that relation. And so that's the context. I think that AI can run with creativity all day, but it doesn't have the context that human nature has in our human experiences. And so I think that's what will always keep us marketers employed, I guess. But yeah, it's very hard to try to automate and scale and use all of these great tools without losing that piece. And so that's why I think, having a human eye on everything is very important.
Yeah, what I'll share with you, the best creative, to me, the most impactful comes from the best strategies. And the best strategies come from the best insights. And the best insights actually come from talking with people, talking with your audience. A lot of things that I've noticed a lot of tech brands aren't doing anymore, maybe to save budget. We'll just do a survey, right? So check the box, A, B, C, D, what do you think, right? But now we've just pre-fed, our audience to give us back only the questions that we've asked, and we haven't even given ourselves the opportunity to actually hear them say something in Got Milk, not ethnographic studies, but research with target audiences, where in fact, in the strategy, in the research segment of Got Milk, all of the participants in the studies who were supposed to be high milk consumers, large volume milk consumers, they were told that they weren't allowed to buy any more milk for the next 2 weeks. You have to use up what you got, and you can't buy any more for 2 weeks in high milk usage households. And then we want to talk to you after you haven't had milk for a couple of weeks. And that's where the conversation started. And if you remember, that's where a lot of the creative came from. Like now I don't have milk for my cereal. Where do I find milk? Or I have peanut butter in my mouth. What's the best thing to take peanut butter in your mouth? But like, it's all of the creative literally came from, that big insight that was developed from talking with people. And sadly, I don't see enough tech companies now spending the time to do that kind of work. And that's why we're getting what I'm calling the beigefication of marketing and tech. It's all turning into be the same thing, especially if they're using AI in that process. Because AI doesn't think of anything new. It just looks backwards and says, here's what I think. And then everybody uses that thought and everybody looks the same. So anyway, that's why I'm fighting AI, Loree. I'm fighting
No,
it.
I love it. So something on that I think is really interesting is like, to be successful with AI, you have to have good data. And so we're becoming very data focused, which is great. Data is very important, but it's the surveys, you're almost like undercutting creativity in those if you're giving, A, B, C, D are your options. Well, I may never have even thought of bringing up F, but because
Exactly.
I put it like pre-fed, like they're never even going to give me that. And actually, a great example, literally today at my company, we got an employee review on Indeed, I believe, and it was, they're still an employee, but they were just listing off some things they were frustrated with, and the amount of like criticism from the leadership team was really interesting. They're like, "Well, this is one person, it's just one data point." I'm like, "This is the gold standard. Like, this is someone coming, bringing like actual feedback to you," and so I think we're gonna see this. I don't know, like we're fighting ourselves on wanting to have so much data and so much aggregate information we can make decisions on, but we're also kind of ignoring those like very specific quantitative, we're prioritizing quantitative for qualitative.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think we're missing out there. So
Yeah. Okay, speaking of missing out, what's the most expensive marketing mistake companies are making right now in the race to adopt AI?
I have two thoughts on this one. So a very real-time example is there's this brand, and I don't want to like, throw them under the bus or anything. They're
Do
like
it.
that.
Do it. Go ahead. Say it.
Okay, so
I'm teasing.
it's Bustle. I'm happy to. It's Bustle. And so on Facebook, like I've just seen a bunch of promoted ads for articles that were getting tons of views, which is great. Totally. Like, of course, promote the things. But they're like, hey, Taylor Swift's new album is going to be called Life of a Showgirl. It's like, what? That was relevant a long time ago, like a year ago. And so I think we're going to see continually like brands spending way too much money promoting things that did perform really well, but kind of like missing the constraints of the context. And then something personally that like we're doing at ITS is we have been huge on content, like creating so many different thought leadership articles, educational resources, all of this great stuff. And for brands that have really, really invested in inbound and in content marketing, they're without really using AI to promote it the right way, it's like wasted. It's like opportunity cost of all this content they've produced. So I think that's really the most expensive mistake. But I can just imagine a brand like, In Style or Vogue or whatever running these huge PPC campaigns for naught because they're about things that are not relevant anymore. So
Right. Interesting. So you've built categories and growth engines across multiple industries. What's more important today, having a better product or telling a better story?
that is really tough. So I will draw experience from a company I worked at. It was an interior design fabric producer. And so, it's really important to know who your customers are. And we had, I think, 5 different brands, very low end. You could buy at like a Michael's or a Joann's fabric, consumer focused for the most part. And then we have these really, really high end brands where, even the like celebrity stylists are only pulling a couple yards for projects because it's just so expensive. It's super important to know your customer because yes, you may have the best product, but if you can't afford the best product, then you don't care, or it's not what actually can really happen. So that's where I think storytelling and really just like aligning with the actual client or customer's need is more important because not everyone can afford the 200 a yard fabric. They can afford the 10, or they can afford, I would love 24/7 support and services, but I can't afford that at my business size right now. And so aligning with where you are, with they are, with your product, I think is the most important piece there because yes, like in a category of 10, having the best would be great, but there's categories of 300. Like we're in such a big economy of businesses right now that you have to really align with people to get them to connect. So,
You know, one of my favorite quotes was, nothing kills a bad product faster than great marketing." Right? Because then everybody goes and buys and they're like, "Oh, this sucks," and then they start tweeting
wow.
out, "This is terrible." I
No,
think
that's,
that
I love that.
I think that still stands. So, why do so many B2B companies spend millions on marketing and still sound exactly like their competitors?
I think exactly what you said earlier is that they're not talking to their customers. We are we have so much data at our disposal. We have so many different, you know, like competitors we can analyze through Claude, through ChatGPT, pull their website, see what everybody's saying, pull RFPs, like whatever it looks like. But we're not actually talking to the client that's been with us for 20 years. Why do you love us? What is the reason you've never even looked at moving away from us? The person who has been with their prior company for 10 years and then they move over. Why did they switch? What was the thing that ruined that relationship? And why were we different? And so I think you're dead on. It's not surveys. It's like literally getting in front of your customers, asking them the questions, building the relationship and the trust. And it's those nuggets that you would never think to expand on, but probably have a really, really common pain point across other brands.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny. We had a client, they were a pioneer in a big space, and they hired us to do a rebrand for them. And when we brought in the results of our research, I made this statement. I said, well, you know, it was 50% or 60% of so-and-so did X, Y, and Z. He's like, well, how did you know that? I said, well, we talked to a bunch of people out here. I mean, you didn't know that, but we actually went and talked to a lot of your customers. He goes, you actually went and talked to our customers? We said, yeah. He goes, really? Nobody does that anymore. And I'm like, I know, but this is where the best stuff lives, right? You got to turn over rocks. It takes, it's funny because so many places, in fact, so many agencies will turn over the first rock and go, here's an idea. Let's just use this one. And you got to turn over a lot of rocks to find the big insight. You know what I mean? To get to the big campaign, the big idea. And it's funny because our industry used to be all about the big idea. The entire network, global network of agency was set up to find and create and manufacture the best big idea ever. And I don't see that happening anymore, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, is to remind people that there is such a bigger space for us to go out as marketers to claim. And it's not this performance-based marketing stuff we're doing that we know is part of the deal. But a brand can't just be 100% performance marketing, which is what I keep seeing. And hopefully what we're fighting against here, Loree. So help me. So if you walk into a company and their pipeline is flat, what's the first thing you investigate?
I would say the conversions, and both from literally the forms, like what's happening. Are people converting? What are they converting on? If they're not converting, why? But actually the conversion and the conversation too. So I would be listening to sales calls. I would see what are we not hitting, because more often than not, I feel like we are putting out this image, this thing, and that's what the customer finds and potentially responds to. And then when they get behind the curtain, it doesn't match. And so I think sales and marketing alignment, or smarketing as HubSpot used to call it, like that is a huge piece that gets forgotten. Is that
I'm sorry, did you say smarketing?
Yeah.
Loree, I'm sorry. I got to take that point away I was going to give you from the beginning. I got to take that point back.
My fault.
I'm sorry. My hands are tied. There's nothing I can do.
Well, it was like 15 years ago.
Okay,
we were still new in inbound marketing back in the day. But yeah, it's right hand and left hand. They have to talk. They have to be speaking the same language. The expectations have to be aligned, and so that's what I see anyway. Is when the pipeline is flat, is sales not performing? Is it because they aren't trying to deliver what we're selling, or is it that we're not aligned on the thing that we're trying to get people in the door for? I think expectations and alignment is like the key there. So.
You spent years helping companies find their differentiation. Why is it so hard for organizations to see what makes them special?
It's because there's a lot of same. We live in a really cool time where companies can spin off from one another and create really, really a unique way of doing things, but not necessarily potentially a unique business proposition. That's where I think there's two books I really wanted to plug on this podcast. Is Obviously Awesome, April Dunford. So it's this great, like, very actionable exercise on how do you take apart the brand positioning? How do you interview the clients? How do you interview, your customer success team, your technical people, the people on site, like all those people, and figuring out what is it that's different about your business. And then the other one is Story Brand, which I love. It's really positioning the client as the hero and you're the guide as the brand. And so back to what I was saying about, companies like branching off. I've worked in lots of organizations who are like, I know I could do this better than this person. I'm going to do my own thing. But we have a lot of that opportunity, which is great. But it's the very nuanced little things that you decide to do differently as a business owner, or that your clients help influence and help you iterate it's the startup scrappy mentality that I think helps everybody. So it all comes back to exactly what we were talking about before. Talk to your customers, talk to the people who are actually buying your product, your service, figure out why they love it, what frustrates them, why did they leave, why did they come back, why did they leave the competitor. Figure that out, because those are the little key nuances that you can actually market to, and you're going to resonate with people in a very different way.
Right. So what do you think? What role does creativity play in a world where AI can generate endless content?
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but AI can hallucinate. So I think that is something that's very important to remember, because, I have worked with several leaders who, you feel like you're talking to Claude, because everything that they come out with is like literally a copy-paste Claude response. And so the more that we rely on AI, you're only able to get out of it what you put into it. And so that's why creativity is so crucial, because there's so much more than Claude, whatever knows. So I don't know. I think honing in on creativity, those are the businesses that are going to continue to, spark the imagination and make people dream, and get people excited. It's aspirational. It's more than just, cut and dry. Here's what we do, etc. So
yeah. You know what I've noticed? I've been in this career a long time and worked on a lot of brands. And when I say back in the day, I'm talking like late 90s, early 2000s. A CMO was kind of built different. They were different. We didn't have so many options for channels, right? We didn't have so much fragmentation of media. And so the CMO was really good at understanding their core brand differentiation and what's on brand and what's off, right? And you'd have a lens that you could look at something through, your brand lens. Is this something we would do? Is this something we would say? If it is, good. If it's not, it's gone, right?
Right.
And I've seen an evolution, with private equity firms and VCs now being on the board, to now we have a lot of CMOs that are really more about almost measuring metrics versus the soul level of understanding to the deepest degree your brand, because you've sat through the ethnographies, you've been with the agency concepting. You're so deep in crafting that brand that you know what it is and you know what it's not, right? So you can look at something immediately and go, that is not us, right? While AI keeps spitting out another 5,000 versions, you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm on this one person's mission to try to bring back that deep level of creativity, that CMO role, of being able to sit there and be the voice of the brand and know what's on brand and what's off. And it's not an MQL or an SQL. It's back, you know what I mean? It's back to being the leader that owns that brand, hands down, even will argue with the CEO. I've yet to see many CMOs argue with CEOs this day. It used to happen a lot. I don't see that much anymore. So I think we're in a bit of a different era, and I'm hoping, again, we can pull everybody back to some degree. Maybe there's some balance there.
But balance is important, I think.
Balance is that's just me. Okay, so last question in this round. What's
Sure.
something marketers should stop measuring immediately?
This is a hot take. If you're, I mean, it very depends on what kind of company you are, but like for B2B social media engagement, I'm over it. I think that people, consumers, go to social media for what they want. And when you're trying to hit them in these different places where they're not thinking in the space for their business, like it's not relevant. It's not going to hit in the same way. Now there's something, of course, restaurants, retail, totally different. But when you're talking about, I don't know, promoting I can't even think, an assessment on Instagram, and I'm looking at my friend's bachelorette party, and then there's her friend. Oh my God, her kids are so cute, and then I don't care.
Yeah,
It's
quiz. No, I don't.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not here for you. I'm here for my social. And so I think there's still a lot of pressure put on just social media marketing in general, especially LinkedIn. It's where businesses are the most, but I have yet, in 5 years, the last 5 years, I would say I have yet to really see a lead come through and really convert, like the right type of lead without some other kind of reference or interaction.
Mhm.
Maybe that's my hot take.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, now's the exciting time. As if the last 25 minutes have not been exciting, this is the exciting time. Now
Ready.
we're going to do the lightning round. I'll give you the score at the end. It's unlikely
Okay.
you'll win. I'm just telling you that.
I mean,
Because I had to pull a point away. My hands were tied. So let's just go ahead and get started. First thought that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it. You don't have to explain your answers. It's just like first thought, and then we're going to jump to the next one. Okay, you ready? What's one marketing buzzword you will immediately send to the retirement community?
click-through rate.
If you could steal one brand's marketing team for 90 days, whose would it be?
Vanta.
Fanta. What's the most expensive marketing lesson you've ever learned?
PPC budgets need to be set before you run the campaign.
AI, overhyped, underhyped, or properly hyped?
Both hyped and underhyped and all of the things.
What is a marketing hill you are willing to die on?
That marketing should be part of the entire customer journey.
What's the worst piece of marketing advice that refuses to die?
Add several CTAs.
And make the logo bigger.
Yes.
If budget disappeared tomorrow, what's the first thing you'd stop doing?
Trade shows.
I agree. What's one thing great marketers do that average marketers don't?
Ask questions.
Which matters more, creativity or consistency?
Creativity.
What's a company everyone thinks has great marketing that actually doesn't?
Pepsi.
If you could have dinner with any marketer from history, who gets the invite?
Oof. Steve Jobs.
I was going to say, I knew you were going to say that. That's funny because I thought him too. What's the strangest place you've ever found inspiration for a marketing idea?
Menu at a restaurant.
Which is harder, getting budget, getting alignment, or getting legal approval?
Budget.
Budget? Yeah, no kidding. Complete this sentence. The future of marketing belongs to...
The creators.
Last one. What's one question every CEO should ask their CMO more often?
What should we cut?
Well, Loree, you've done a fabulous job at the lightning round, and by just a simple tally on the back of my envelope, you've got 17, which, like I said, sadly is not enough to advance you to the next round. But as we continue, we might bring you back for a Champions League. We'll see. It depends. But Loree, I've had a wonderful time with you. Thank you for all of your insights and for joining us on the show. I'm sure our audience will love hearing your answers. And I want to thank you for having a great time with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a great time, and I will be back for the championship round. So
Good.